Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the what I've watched, the monthly watches. I've run down everything that I've watched throughout the month. This is for June, so yeah, there's been some interesting watches. Watched some new stuff, a lot of old things, a lot of re-watches as well. But yeah, I did manage to watch a 2024 film as well, maybe even a couple. Let's take a look. So I'll go on to the diary. I'm using Letterboxd, I always do, to kind of help me run down what I've been watching. So, 1st of June, I watched Followers from 2021. This is found footage. It's a UK movie. I gave it 1.5 stars out of 5. I didn't like this at all. I had high hopes for it to some degree. I knew it might not be the best thing in the world, but I bought the Blu-ray and I thought, yeah, I'll try this out. And as it says here, a struggling social media influencer discovers the house he shares is haunted. The ghost brings him and his friends fame and fortune, but with deadly consequences. Yeah, not a lot goes on. It's got a bunch of fake outs in there where they're basically the guy who does his YouTube channel pretends that their place is haunted because he's orchestrated that, and then it turns out it actually is haunted. The characters weren't great, really. The overall plot wasn't very memorable. Typical sort of like throwaway material in the found footage canon, I'd say. In the found footage genre, it's typical throwaway material. Weren't keen on Followers, so I'm not going to say too much about it. Incubus from 1982, I watched. Gave that 3.5 out of 5. This was a really good film. I have wanted the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray for a while, but I've not been able to get hold of it. So I downloaded it on iTunes, and yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Good old school horror. Bit of witchery, witchcraft in there and things like that. Basically, women are being raped by this sort of entity or what have you, and the police are trying to uncover what's going on. This doctor's investigating too, and it comes to a conclusion where they figure out what's going on, where they figure it's like not a human that's doing it, it's some sort of entity which is possessing a human, so it is a possessed person, but they've got like extra strength and all that sort of thing. But yeah, really enjoyed Incubus. Directed by John Howe or Hugh. It's John Howe. Yeah. It says in a small New England town of Gallon, a young teenage boy claims he has dreams of young women being brutally raped and murdered. A doctor and the local sheriff discover that the boy's dreams are real and that a sinister cult might be behind the brutal murders. So that about sums it up. Yeah, it's pretty good. Don't know any of the actors in it really, nobody recognisable to me, but really good film, Incubus. Anyway, I did give that a 3.5. I enjoyed that one. I wouldn't even mind getting the physical media copy if I can. I did like that a lot. Watched something on streaming on the 4th, Good Burger 2 on Paramount. Thought I'd have a look at it. Saw the original, the first one years ago. It's the Keenan and Kel actors fooling around and running a burger joint. So basically, this Dick cons them out of the establishment, and a big company takes over, avenging the villain. It's the villain's sister. The villain from the first film, it's his sister who runs this big corporation. They basically get scammed. Is it Ed? Ed gets scammed out of the business. They're out of a job and everything, and they have to sort of like come up with a little crazy plan to get the business back. And what they do is they wreck the debut of the new Good Burger, or whatever it's called, some sort of futuristic burger where they have robots of Ed serving the food, and they make the burgers a bit like GMOs. I think they just sort of like some sort of synthetic thing, and they just basically create the burgers out of nothing, so it's not even like original meat or any, like proper meat. It's just like this fake stuff. So they make these fake burgers, and the Keenan and Kel guys, I think is it Dexter? He's down on the lookout for one. Yeah, Dexter, I think his name is, and Ed, Keenan and Kel guys, Dex and Ed, they basically have to mess up the launch of the new futuristic burger. Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was really stupid. Outdated sort of humour. It reminded me of something that was probably made in the 90s as well, although it's from 2023. But I did have fun with it. I gave that 2.5. Fun film, bit stupid, bit silly, but yeah, if you're just looking for some easy viewing for a laugh, I guess it's okay. Nothing special, mind you. On the 6th, I watched the 4K of Night of the Comet. I gave this 4 stars. Night of the Comet's great 80s aesthetic, great 80s movie. this comet basically turns people into dust. A few people are remaining. These two young girls, well, should say young women, like late teenagers, they basically are going about the city while it's desolate and empty, and they come across people, and it's good fun. They come across this scientific lab where there's things going on. Yeah. So I was just reading the synopsis, because two girls from the valley wake up to find that a passing comet has eradicated their world and left behind a mysterious red dust and a pack of cannibal mutants. Yes, I didn't mention that there is cannibal mutants, so one of the girls has to fight the cannibal mutants. What's the character called? Oh, I don't know, I'm clicking on all sorts. I forget the characters' names. I'm terrible with characters' names unless they're really see if I can just... if it tells me. Anyway, one of the girls basically fights off a mutant. She goes back. Her younger sister, the blonde-haired one, I think she's Kelly Maroney, played by her. They basically figure out that everybody's gone and they've got to survive in this desolate sort of empty world with a few humans remaining. It's got some fun scenes where they're in the shopping mall and stuff like that, and then in the science lab later on. And they've just got to survive through it, basically. Yeah, I love Night of the Comet. Great film. I spoke about that in more detail on a video a few weeks ago, so if you want to check that out on the channel. Rewatched a classic and old favourite of mine from 1979 on the 9th. I watched Mad Max, the original. Is it George Miller, his original film? I think it's, George Miller. He's done all the Mad Max films. This is his original from 79. It stars Mel Gibson and others. Mel Gibson's the main guy, plays Max. Of course, he comes up against the ferocious Toe Cutter, who's a horrible villain. Basically, this gang, things of society's kind of getting to the stage where it's disbanding into anarchy, and things are rather rogue, and law and order's having a trouble keeping itself relevant, so they have to lay the law down. And Mad Max is just fantastic. I love the scenes on the road. I mean, even at the beginning with Knight Rider, that's a good scene. That's sort of a catalyst. The Knight Rider being killed in a crash is kind of like a catalyst for the Toe Cutters gang, which want revenge on the police. Mad Max is a part of that. The Halls of Justice, that's where they're based. And Max basically goes away with his girlfriend and his kid, or his wife. And when his wife's on a trip at the seafront, just while Max is trying to sort out a new tyre on the car, his wife comes across Toe Cutter and the gang, and she knees Toe Cutter in the testicles, and that really pisses them off. And then they realise it's Max's wife, and they go after them and run them down. Spoiler alert. So they run down Max's missus and the baby, and that really fucks Max off and pisses him off, and he goes on a rampage and gets revenge. Great film. Can't beat a bit of Mad Max. I know a lot of people favour Road Warrior, but I love the first one, personally. Absolute classic. And I gave that 4.5 stars out of 5, so I rate that very highly. Difficult watch. On the 9th, I watched the Blue Underground 4K, which I picked up, of Goodbye Uncle Tom. Now, this is some seriously tough subject matter to actually talk about. The premise is, basically, if you don't know... it's an Italian film, for starters, still banned in quite a few countries, I presume. And basically the premise is these directors have gone back in time during periods of slavery, predominantly in the USA, and they go back and they film what slaves go through, basically the process when they come from Africa, and it's really hard material. It's very authentic. They capture that kind of negative slave trading very well. The film's made very well. The 4K looked good as well. It was a good 4K, but regardless, it's a really difficult film to watch. It's one of the most disturbing films I've actually ever seen. It's more disturbing than any gruesome, gory, or nightmarish horror film you could imagine. you basically, it's like a document. It's made like a documentary. So these guys have gone back in time and they're filming what all the slaves go through when they're on the ships in chains, and some of the heinous things that are being done to them. They're treated like animals basically, and it's just putting a light on a dark period of history. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's a difficult one. I gave it 3 stars because it was a difficult watch. It was a very good film. I could have even given it more than 3 stars, but I think a lot of people should watch this though, because it might open their eyes a little bit. You know, it's just got to ensure human beings never go down this route again, because it is evil, like what happens to them and how they're treated, the slaves, evil. And that's very, much so, like legitimately evil. That's Goodbye Uncle Tom. Very hard film to watch from 1971. I don't want to talk about it too much because it's quite upsetting. Just how they're treated is just like sort of animals. It's just upsetting to watch. Watched Super 8 on the 11th. Very impressed by this, to the extent I even bought the 4K. I had the Blu-ray gifted off Stuart George. Unfortunately, I think the disc was faulty because the last 10 minutes it kept freezing, and no matter how hard I tried with like resetting the player and wiping the disc slightly, it still won't play. So I bought the 4K, but thanks anyway, Stuart, for sending the Blu-ray, because I did watch the majority of it. And Super 8 was fantastic. Produced by Spielberg, directed by, I think it's Abrams. Yep, J.J. Abrams. Really cool movie. Actually set in 1979. I thought it was set in the 80s, but it's set in 79. It says here they've got a Super 8 camera. These kids, they go filming a movie at night time, and this big train crash happens, and somebody's killed, and there's a lot of wreckage, and then this team of military people show up, and something sinister's going on, and basically there's a huge alien on the loose attacking people, and the military are keeping the town in the dark regarding this issue. And it's really cool, really authentic, very good sort of period piece set when it was set in 79 or wherever, the 80s. Looked really cool. Really riveting story. Yeah, I loved Super 8 from 2011. Gave that 4 stars. Do recommend that one. I didn't think it would quite be to my liking, be my cup of tea, but I did enjoy it a lot. An interesting one here from 2024 actually. It's a mini series, so Letterboxd does let you log mini series as a movie, and I watched Eric, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, who's done some good stuff. He's a fair actor. I like him. He did a good job in this. He really does play a good part, and he comes across, I know he's a British actor, but he really seemed like he was American in this. He did a really good job. I personally thought, I know some people might criticise his accent and stuff, but I thought he really come across as like a New Yorker. Basically, he's a dad. He's married. His son wants to follow in his footsteps. He's a puppeteer. He works on a puppet show. He might have even created it, I think, and his son has been drawing this character of Eric. Yeah, Eric's the big guy, isn't he? His son's been drawing like a Yeti character, Eric, but then his son goes missing because he didn't walk him to school. And there's just this whole mystery behind where his son's gone, and no one can like locate him. And the dad's breaking down Benedict Cumberbatch's character and the wife, and something sinister's going on in the underworld of New York, and there's a lot of corruption in the political system as well, involving children. His son's gone missing, and now, subsequently, as a result of the guilt that he's feeling from allowing his son to walk to school by himself and getting kidnapped possibly, he keeps seeing the big Yeti everywhere. So wherever he goes, Eric's there, criticising him, talking to him. It's pretty cool. I did enjoy this. Good one from Netflix. It's on Netflix, Eric. Good mini-series. I think it's about 8 episodes or something. Yeah, really good. I gave that 4 stars. I did enjoy Eric. I rewatched The Case of the Bloody Iris on 4K because I picked up the Celluloid Dreams 4K. 4 stars out of 5. Great giallo. What can I say, really? I spoke about this on the video as well. Yeah, good stuff. Good giallo. I do recommend The Case of the Bloody Iris. If you like your Italian giallos, can't go wrong with that one. Then I cracked open the Homegrown Horrors Volume 3 set, which I wasn't over the moon about once I'd watched it. I was looking forward to it greatly. Haunted Ween is the first film I watched in the set from 1991. It's the best film in the set, pretty fun. About this killer basically going back to his old, where he'd killed a girl when he was younger. When he was a kid, he killed a girl in a haunt. One of those haunt attractions they do in America mainly, I think. They do them everywhere, but I think Americans are very into it. And basically he goes back and he wants to set up his own showcase in The Haunt where people think it's fake, but it's actually real and he's killing people. Yeah, pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Good, like cheesy 90s. Good cheesy 90s slasher. Then I rewatched The Lighthouse in 4K. I saw this film back in 2019, I think it was. Fantastic movie, The Lighthouse, from is it Roger Eggers, who did The Witch and The Northman? I think it is. It's got to be Roger. Yeah, Robert Eggers. Sorry, I say Roger Eggers. I don't know why. It's Robert Eggers, who did The Witch and The Northman. He's doing the new Nosferatu film, and I love The Lighthouse. It just such a weird, twisted tale. Stars Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe. They're both fantastic. It's basically a two-man show. There's glimpses at the beginning of other people when they're being dropped off at the island, but for the majority of the film, it's just Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe getting on each other's nerves, getting to know each other, being friendly, but something weird's going on. It's like they're having psychological breakdowns and they're seeing weird visions and things, and something's not quite right on this island where the lighthouse is. They're very cut off from everything as they're there for a long period of a few months without any other human contact. William Dafoe's in charge, his character, so he acts like a bit of a dick towards Patterson's character, but the interactions between the two are just phenomenal, and the acting's brilliant from both actors. William Dafoe especially, he can do a great character piece. We know he's a fantastic actor, but Robert Pattinson really brings his A game as well in The Lighthouse. I love it. Just such a weird movie. Can't really even talk. There's not much to say really apart from just watch the damn film. I got the 4K finally from Arrow, and yeah, I loved watching it again. Brilliant film. Gave that 5 stars. The Lighthouse is just deadly love out of the Homegrown Horror set. I have done a review on this on the channel in a bit more detail if you're interested, from 1987. Really drab, dreary film. I did not enjoy it. Zipperface, I watched on the 16th from 1992. This was also a disappointment. I thought this would be a really fun, gory slasher. It was actually quite tame and a bit of a police drama. Third film out of the Homegrown Horror set from Vinegar Syndrome, the Volume 3. I watched Revenge from 1986, a bit of a cult movie. This was disappointing. I gave that 1.5. Got the second sight for Blu-ray release of The Sacrament. Watch that from 2013, Ty West. Really good. Spoke about this a little bit on the channel too, so you can go check those videos out. I think it's a review. Yeah, it's an unboxing and review. I really like The Sacrament though. Good sort of cult movie. Very interesting material in that. Night Siren. Another good one, witchcraft movie, folklore film, modern folklore from Arrow, presented by Arrow Video. It was one of their releases. Yeah, pretty damn good. Thought the first hour was better than the majority of the film, but it was a good watch. 3 stars from 2022. Gunjaram Asylum, Haunted Asylum, should I say. Picked up the second sight, weren't too keen, was really looking forward to it, but found it a little bit disappointing and almost like an inferior version of Grave Encounters. So I gave that 2.5, and then I rewatched Grave Encounters, which I gave 4.5 to. I love Grave Encounters. The sequel's a bit of a downgrade, but I still have fun with the sequel. But the first film's so cool. I love the location. The characters are a bit annoying, but they're also quite good as well. They're basically doing some sort of like, it's like a fictional version of Most Haunted. If you remember Most Haunted, that used to be on in the UK, where the paranormal experts go to different vicinities and different properties and see if they can uncover ghostly goings on. And Grave Encounters is really cool. They get stuck in some sort of time loop. They're trapped in the building keeps moving, the haunted asylum, the empty asylum, and it's got some great, like, I thought the effects were quite good. It's got some good like monsters in there, ghosts and things and ghouls. But yeah, I love Grave Encounters, one of my favourite found footage films. I know a lot of people aren't keen on it. I just have a bit of a soft spot for it. Watched a bit of Australian horror on Shudder. Houseboat Horror, just a slasher movie. Basically, these people on a boat, on a houseboat. It was alright. It was a cool kind of like 80s movie, typical low budget like 80s slasher rubbish, but weren't overly thrilled by it. The kills were a bit disappointing and stuff, but it's alright. I think Umbrella have released that at some point. I gave it 2.5. Then I watched for the first time, because I didn't know whether I'd watched it or not, and I watched The Crow on 4K, because I picked up The Crow 4K from 1994. Brilliant film. Love the aesthetic. Really gritty, dark. Some great scenes, some great dialogue from the Crow character, Eric Draven, is it? Really good fight scenes, some good clubs, a good scene in the club with gunfight action and of course a great finale in the cathedral. But yeah, I love The Crow, gave that 4 stars. And we're sort of getting to the end now. I recently watched Body Melt, another Aussie horror from 1993. Bit disappointed with this one, 2 stars because it had some great effects. So basically the gory, gruesome, icky effects boosted the rating from me, but the narrative was terrible really, and it just wasn't that interesting, to be fair. It's basically about this new drug that's been people are using and stuff to get in shape, and basically it has adverse effects, and you get things like that happen, like your eyes popping out, as you can see there on the picture. But really cool effects though, some really good like practical effects in there. I did like that aspect of it. I just thought the narrative was a bit pants. Yesterday I watched, so last film on the list, I know I've got one from the 1st of July, but I'll save that for next month. So I watched a new one from 2024, an A24, presented by A24 Pictures. I Saw the TV Glow, and this had a brilliant aesthetic. It's kind of like some flashback stuff in there, but it was mainly set in the 90s, and it's quite a new one as well. I've been wanting to watch this for a while because I've heard good things. It's basically about this lonely kid. He befriends an young girl who's a couple of years older than him, and she's really into this TV show, a 90s TV show called The Pinko Pig. And he goes around to watch it with her because he's not allowed to stay up late, so he says he's sleeping over at his friend's, but he actually goes to her house, and they stay up and watch The Pinko Pig. And then, because he can't stay up and watch it, she records videotapes for him so he can actually catch up with it. And the Pinko Pig aspect was the best thing about the film. I mean, it would be cool to see an actual Pinko Pig like film. But yeah, it's about the Pinko Pig is actually some show they watch. It's about these 2 girls who basically got some sort of like spirituality gift, you know, like powers. They've got like some sort of powers, and they can connect with supernatural things. And yeah, there's this Mr. Melancholy is coming after them. He's like this creepy guy, and it's a good scene involving his character later on when they watch when the guy watches the finale of the Pinko Pig. Also has a cool like ice cream man character which they watch. This is what they watch in the film, by the way, but it was the best part of the film. I Saw the TV Glow. The best part of it was the Pinko Pig stuff. But yeah, basically he's going through all these trials and stuff, and what is it, tribulations, you know, bit of like teenage angst and stuff. He grows up, he's a lonely person. The girl says she's leaving, he doesn't go with her, she vanishes without a trace, and then weird stuff starts happening, and it's kind of like one of those reality bending type of things. Bit weird, good aesthetic, love the Pinko Pig stuff, that was really fun. Yeah, I liked I Saw the TV Glow. It was a bit I do like ambiguous stuff, but I'd say it was a little bit overly ambiguous for my liking. So I gave it a 3 out of 5 because it is one of them where you're like, oh, it doesn't quite make sense, but it might make sense to some people. I was just had my brain rattled a little bit, but I did enjoy the film, and I thought the aesthetic was fantastic, and I loved the Pinko Pig TV show that they watched. That was really cool part of it. And anyway, that's the end of the little podcast thing that I do, the what I've watched. So been going 23 minutes or so. Thanks for listening if you have. What have you been watching this month? Perhaps you'd like to let me know in the comments section. That'd be great. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one. Got some videos coming up this week. I actually went and ordered Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. I hated the first film. I thought it was quite bad, but I'm intrigued to see Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 because apparently it's improved. So I did go and pick that one up. I'm just waiting to receive the Blu-ray, so I may do an unboxing and review on that. It's not a limited or special edition of the film like I know Umbrella are bringing out a nice edition, but it's Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. I'm not going to spend a lot on it, so I just picked up the standard release, but I'll do an unboxing and review. And there's a few more bits on the channel this week as well, so look out for that. So thanks for listening anyway, and I'll see you soon. Bye.